Good evening. Om Shanti. Welcome to what I hope will be another insightful insight session. We call these every Saturday evening insight session. Weekends are the times when we can take a step back from what we do at work and so many things that keep us rolling through the week, through our lives. And so weekend is a time when we can relax and think about something higher, something deeper. And we have been doing this for quite a while actually. And but recently we decided to call this as the Spiritual Enlightenment series. As I have mentioned in the past, we have seen that there is a little wave, at least, of spiritual awakening that's happening across the world. But it's not just awakening. Awakening would mean you wake up in the morning and sometimes you're still dazed. And you still remain dazed for quite a little bit of time. But how can I take myself to a totally new level of awakening? And that's what I feel, and that's what we were discussing. Spiritual enlightenment would signify. And so we have a new person. Hello, how are you? Wonderful, welcome. What's your name?
Kojo.
Kojo, nice to meet you too. Welcome. Um,
How
um,
did you come to know?
how did you come to know?
The meetup ad.
So, yes, I saw your um, RSVP. So wonderful. Just to let you know, for those of you who are new, and all of you know where the bathrooms are, there's a bathroom there. If you want to use, there's water there. There are books and CDs for sale inside. There's a bookstore which you can explore after the session. We will take it up till 7:50ish or even earlier, depending on how it is. And there's again, as usual, a nice sweet for all of you to enjoy. Something very creative that Kanishta has done. It's vegan again, right? All right, so you can enjoy that at the end. So I was thinking that we could, for a little bit, talk about, in a way, recapitulate what we have discussed. And I think the first time when we talked about actor consciousness and what was the other one, traveler, right? And then the second time when we went through this actor consciousness, and we thought we'll be talking about different things as well. But then something new emerged which we had not thought of at all, and that was diamond consciousness. And many of you were not there, and so it's not a bad idea to kind of go over it a little bit. And I was just thinking that the Spiritual Enlightenment series could be more as spirituality made easy, more relevant for today's day and age. Sometimes it does feel very mystical, out of the world kind of thing, and feels as if I'll have to leave the world, go out somewhere, stop eating food, stop wearing clothes, stop doing this, stop doing that, and all those things, um, and to be able to go within and understand. But no, it's not actually that. It's much easier. So we had talked about that you cannot really truly experience spirituality unless, oh, Michelle is here. Welcome, Michelle. So unless you really experience detachment, and detachment is the core of truly.
Come here.
Wherever you like, you're welcome to sit wherever you like. It's
She likes to sit in the front every time.
yeah, she's the front bencher. So detachment is truly at the core of exploring anything higher, anything divine. But detachment seems very heavy, seems very difficult, seems very far-fetched again.
The other day I was telling that, I was telling to someone that instead of using this word detachment, maybe if it feels very heavy to you, you can say it as non-attachment.
Non-attachment, yeah. Thank you, yeah. That feels right away much easier to swallow. And the pill becomes small right away. though the words are more, I guess, non-attachment, detachment, right? The letters are more in non-attachment. May seem like a bigger pill, but clearly it seems easier to swallow. So we were seeing that there are few different consciousness that you have to kind of work on. And by that, what I mean is starting off with a thought and just not letting it stay as a thought, but creating an experience out of it. So much so that it becomes a part of our existence. And as we do that, then this detachment or non attachment becomes a possibility, and spirituality, if you will, or experiencing divine connection no longer becomes or stays as mystical or as difficult as we have always thought it to be. Right? So, the first thing that we talked about was actor consciousness, that the whole world is a big play, like Shakespeare said, we're all merely actors. We are looking at each other's parts, we're looking at our own part as if we are watching a beautiful play, a beautiful drama. And just as every drama, however intense it is, however strange it may be, however horrific it could be, is there anybody here who likes to watch horror movies? No, you like. So even if it is horrific, what happens eventually? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, it's over. You go back to bed, or you leave the cinema theater hall or whatever, and then you go back home. Similarly, here too, whatever we are seeing, the craziness of life sometimes that we call it. You know, sometimes at work when there's a lot going on, we say it as what a drama, right? There's a drama happening here. Yet we don't get it. We don't still look at it just as a drama. We get involved in it. We
Because
think,
that missing piece is detachment.
yeah,
Detached. Watching the drama as a detached observer.
yeah,
That consciousness is not there, that awareness is not there.
yeah. So just thinking of it as a drama, but really bringing it into our experience, reminding ourselves again and again that it's truly a drama. Why am I getting stuck in what things are happening around me, with me, what I'm doing, what others are doing, so on and so forth. So that's what we had explored.
And also we talked about not being just an actor, but a hero actor.
Hero. And that's where it all started. The second session got
Yeah, so the second session, we were talking about being a hero actor, and then there is another word in Hindi that is called as hira. Hira means diamond. So hero and hira, they both go together. So that is how this diamond consciousness that came came up, and then we talked about diamond consciousness last time.
So the hero is the most precious character in the most precious, definitely from the money point of view too, but also his acting skills in any drama.
Yeah.
And so
It is attractive. Hero is attractive, just like diamond sparkles and attracts everyone's attention. So hero or heroine is the one who attracts the attention of the
Yeah.
audience.
yeah. So on one hand, I have to play my part like a hero, whatever it is, whether it is of a rich person, a poor person, an old person, a young person, a physically not so healthy person, a physically very fit person, a person with many relations, person with few relations, person with great ideas, great creativity, and with less than the best creativity, whatever it is. If I play my part to the best of my abilities, just like a hero plays whatever part he has been given. Sometimes you've seen movies where the best actors are given a villain's role, right, and they play it very well, or has been given a role of a beggar, still plays. He may be a multimillionaire, right, has his own private jets, but playing the role of a beggar.
Yeah, and also accuracy with which that performs the action.
Yeah.
Today, this was the thought that came, in our the spiritual passage that we read every day. So this was the thought today, right? Today or
Yeah.
yesterday, I think.
No, it was today.
Today, right?
Yeah. Accurate.
Accurate, being accurate. Whatever action you're performing, if you do it accurately, then you become a hero. Hero is the one who's, every spiritually, if we take it, we should be um, we should be accurate in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions, in our relationships. Every level, I should be able to manifest that accuracy.
So your A was for attention, but A is also for accuracy.
Accuracy, yeah.
Yeah, all right. And
Yeah, so we came up with this acronym ACTOR. A stands for attention, because you are attentive and you know that you are performing a very special role, then you play your part with full attention, because everyone is watching me, right? Because I am a hero. So everyone is watching me, so I should be very attentive. So A stands for attentiveness, and then A also stands for accuracy. Because I am a hero, I should perform every action, even my thinking, my speaking, my interaction with everyone should be accurate. And then C stands for courage, because hero is considered to be one who has courage, right? He's a role model for everyone. He's the one who gives strength to everyone. Not only he is courageous, but his presence makes others also feel the power, the strength. So hero is courageous. And then T stands for
Truth.
truth. Good, everyone remembers.
O for?
O for
Optimistic for opportunity.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Being optimistic and seeing every situation as an opportunity to grow, right? And then
R is resilience.
R stands for resilience.
The ability to bounce back.
Yeah.
So wonderful. And from that arose the diamond consciousness, that we are diamonds, see ourselves as diamonds. And if you look at when challenges come our ways, so many times we get rejected, dejected, suppressed. We feel so awful, we feel horrible. But you see how diamonds are created. Carbon is just pure carbon, and so much of high temperature, high pressure deep inside the earth's mantle helps in creating diamonds. So if I do not go through a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, if you will, from external, then how will I become precious too? Think of it. So all these stresses, in fact, are opportunities for us to become as precious as diamonds.
And also we talked about being valuable and also using our inner values. The more inner values, the core values we use, the more we become valuable.
Mm-hmm.
As valuable as a diamond. Our value increases. We increase our value by using more and more our inner values. That
Yeah.
means bringing our values into actions,
Yeah.
leading a virtuous life. Life where we are patient, where we are courageous, where we are peaceful, stable, calm, all the values. The more values we bring in our life, the more we are increasing our value.
Can we say that, so as usual, we'll do it as a discussion, like a conversation, and can we say that the more we think of ourselves as diamonds, as precious, then more we'll be able to express our diamond-like qualities?
Yeah, because whatever you think, you become that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As you think, so you become. So first comes our thought, who am I? Again, going back to the same question. In spirituality, this is the most important question. Who am I and what is my purpose? So if I am aware all the time that, I am a very precious diamond, I am a hero actor. All these thoughts, they really help us to elevate our feeling, because in the morning session also I was telling that whatever we think, that is how we start to feel. So if I create this thought that I am a hero actor, I am a diamond, then how do I start to feel? Immediately, my energy level increases. I begin to feel very elevated, very high. People, they depend upon so many external drugs to elevate their moods, mood elevator drugs, right? But here, you don't have to depend upon any drugs like that to get that euphoria type of feeling, right?
Back
Yeah.
in the 70s, they said we were high on life.
High on
Yeah.
life.
High
Yeah.
on life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Because people, maybe in ancient times, people were more connected to their values.
But at that
Right.
time, it was a different reason why they were saying it, right? This was hippie culture and.
No, she
Or
is saying about 17th century or something?
In the 1970s.
Oh,
1970s.
1970s. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a different
What
time.
was
I
the
mean,
context?
there was the drug culture in the 60s, but then in the 70s, you were it is getting away from that, and they would say,
Okay.
"Well, I'm high on life."
Oh, is
Not
that
on
what the
drugs,
context
but
is?
high on life.
Okay,
Okay.
And
good.
yogurt and granola.
Yes,
Mm.
healthy things.
Nature.
Everything's, yeah.
Yes,
Ah.
trying to. I mean, people were trying to elevate their consciousness at that
Without
time.
having drugs, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is how, this meditation and all these things, they came up from that time onwards. People started becoming aware of, that there is power in meditation.
And we have seen it all the time when somebody says something negative to us, say,
Mhm.
you are dumb, right? And so we start feeling,
Yeah, you start
Bad
feeling
about-
bad. Yeah,
bad
you start
about us.
feeling low.
and people around us are going to judge us, are going to say things negative to us. It's not that they want to, sometimes they just do it. And what we do is we allow that to become part of us and pull us down. So even before that, I guess if we hold on to this consciousness, these elevated consciousness, if you will, so like an actor, I'm a hero actor, I'm a diamond, a precious diamond.
And this keeps, these types of thoughts, they keep us moving throughout the day. Because when we feel high, then there is no tiredness, right? So both the things are not going to be together. When you are feeling high, then there cannot be that kind of low feeling. Because when there is light, there is no darkness. So either you have light or you have darkness. So either
Yeah.
you feel high or you feel low.
Yeah.
So it's my choice. It all depends upon how I think. If I think very high about myself, then I begin to feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah. So just going back a little bit for those who weren't here about diamond consciousness, that if you look at, say, if the diamond at some point says, I can't take this pressure, I can't take this high temperature, you know what happens then? It's almost as if the universe helps it not have that temperature and pressure, and then faults get created. You see? And I was sharing that last time. Whoever you remember, you were there, right? I was talking about diamond that, when they take this diamond, a big chunk of diamond, it has thousands of defects in it. So where there's a major defect, you have to cut from that. And diamond's price, the value is based on the sizes, the weight of it. So if it's a big diamond with no defects, that's what increases its value. But for us to now, if you think, say, if challenges are coming our ways, and we say, no, 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 enough, no more challenges, I can't take this. We look at these challenges as truly challenges rather than opportunities. Then we say no, and that's where faults get created and our value decreases. So see how changing our perspective allows us to grow even further. And then if you look at diamond, how it is cut, it goes through a little painful process, right? There's hours of cutting it, hours of polishing it, and that's when its value increases. Even you take the actual chunk of diamond, this is a chunk of diamond where coming out of the ground, first of all, it doesn't even look pretty. Have you seen? It doesn't even look pretty. It looks like just like a normal stone. But when it goes through all that polishing and cutting, and the more the number of angles in it, the faces of the diamond, the more they are, more the value, because then it reflects the light. Similarly, if I create a multifaceted personality for myself, allow the universe to cut me and polish me and I don't scream and I don't cry and I don't throw things around, I can handle it, then I can become very precious. And then you see now precious, why? Also then I can reflect God's qualities. Say diamond, you as a diamond, you, because we have been created as images of God. We have the same qualities as God. God is the ultimate reservoir of all energies, all qualities. We are reservoirs too, not as ultimate as God, but we are images of God. So if I can create that consciousness that I am a diamond, multifaceted, well polished, allow the universe to do what it needs to do with me, then I can actually truly express God's qualities, reflect God's qualities. That's what was the
Last session we ended
yeah,
with this, I think.
yeah, diamond consciousness. And then we talked about traveler in the first one.
Yeah.
That we are travelers and each one is on a spiritual journey, and as a traveler we come from the home and
Yeah, and how to become an expert traveler. We
yeah.
talked about that. The expert traveler does not
You
carry.
remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Expert traveler does not carry a lot of stuff. You know, expertise is to travel light. So similarly, in this journey of life, if we really want to enjoy our journey, traveler, if he does not have too much of luggage, then the journey is pleasant, beautiful, and enjoyable. On the other hand, if there is a lot of bag and baggage, then it becomes very challenging for the traveler. Won't be able to
Yeah,
enjoy.
sometimes we end up taking more than we
More,
need, and
yeah.
then we forget what we really need.
Exactly,
Oh,
yeah.
my toiletries is still back
Yeah,
home.
we take unnecessary stuff with us sometimes. So what we need to do is, if I want to stay light, I want to enjoy this life, then I need to carry only what is needed. That means I need to think only necessary thoughts. I need to carry only those thoughts that are needed for my journey.
And thoughts create beliefs.
Yeah.
So if I create negative thoughts, I create negative beliefs. And beliefs are big baggages, right?
Right.
So I have to get rid of those negative beliefs, negative.
Some of the beliefs are even toxic.
Yeah, yeah. And I was sharing that in the morning session that we are probably one of the most self-destructive species on this planet. Yeah, and how we create toxic thoughts, toxic beliefs, that I should have more, 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 for example, right? And
So it all depends upon our choice.
or so and so did such thing to me. I'm waiting to get even with that person, right? These kind of thoughts, we just hold on to these beliefs, and this is how we have been programmed. That if I don't get back to someone for what they have done, then that means I'm weak, that means I'm powerless, that means that I'm going to be treated as a doormat eventually. That's when people will walk all over me. See,
And then
these,
we go into past so much. We keep thinking and thinking and thinking.
yeah.
And this is how we make ourselves heavy. The
Mhm.
luggage becomes heavy and heavy. And then there is no joy in life.
Yeah, and then we project it into the future.
Yeah.
We say that because this person did this to me yesterday, will do it to me tomorrow. So I have to fix it today. I have to
And
get
also
even with
we not only just think about those things, but also we bring the whole scene in the front of the screen of our mind.
yeah.
So we visualize, we bring all the scene and sceneries, and then when we bring the images also, then we are in evoking more and more feelings,
Yeah.
and that makes us more heavy, not
Yeah.
just thinking about the past but also feeling, reliving.
Yeah, reliving. The experience itself
experiences.
becomes very heavy.
Exactly.
So thought is heavy, the belief is heavy, the experience in itself, the visualization that we create with it, all adds to the bags that we have.
We keep on increasing the bags and baggages.
Then we'll have to pay more at the check-in. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we will be at loss, and then we will become sad. Oh no, I had to pay.
yeah, endless problems then. So that's what we had talked about. And now I was thinking that if anybody has any thoughts before we move into a little different
Yeah, or
conscious.
anybody may have, if anybody has practiced this
Yeah.
consciousness that we had talked about in your day to day life, because the idea why we are discussing all this, so that you can practically use, this in your day to day activities and day to day life, and then you can take the benefit of it. Otherwise, there is no use, just listening and then forgetting. Right?
Yeah, we were wanting to make this more practical, more
Practical.
down to earth, more.
This is practical spirituality.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Living.
Spirituality made incredibly easy.
Easy.
Yeah. Why not? There are series, right? Like of this karate made incredibly easy or something like that. You have books like that. But anyways, we thought that we'll make this easy. So yes, I was hoping to hear from some of you at least if you have practice experience.
So, one of the things with the negative thoughts in your mind that you habitually gravitate through, and we use the example of Maya as sneaking in.
Yeah.
I could be thinking of a recipe for pancakes or something, and suddenly I'll end up with some really awful thought, and I'll catch myself, and the thing I'm still struggling with is I tend to want to chastise myself, like, what in the world? Where did that come from? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And to myself,
Right.
and that's not good either.
Right.
You're not right. You're supposed to gently
Yeah.
work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's also a belief. We have been trained somehow that you have to chastise yourself for everything you do.
Bad dog.
Your bad dog thing. And now you give yourself a bad name, and now you've got to go to the gallows, right? Yeah. Right? This is what happens to all of us, and these beliefs have to be somewhere broken. Somewhere we have to change.
It's interesting that you said that because that happened to me this morning. I had this bizarre, random thought pop into my head, and like you, I was like, where did that come from? And I just said, God, take that from me. I don't want to see that in my vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the morning, I was
It's
telling,
odd.
that, how the soul is like a recorder. Whatever we think, whatever we feel, whatever we experience, whatever we see around us, whatever our sense organs are experiencing, everything gets recorded in the soul. And that is from the recorder actually, the thought pops up.
Somewhere, something,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
What happens
Something
is
very deep, maybe.
Deep,
Because
yeah.
this is not something I engage in. But I
right.
saw it.
No, but what happens is there's so much of information out there, and I was sharing one time when I did the science of meditation that there like what 2 or 3 billion bits of information that's coming to us every second.
Oh, every second.
Every second. And if you look at it, there is, because even the way your body is sending messages to the brain. So
You may not be conscious about that. It's going inside subconscious. In the
Subconscious.
subconscious, it is going.
So you see something on television, and this gets attached to this, and then connections happen, and one thing leads to the other and other. That's why what we have found is you have to be very careful of what you take in, and just like hopefully we are careful of what we eat, right? Most of the times, and we have to be careful of what we eat in the mind too. Quote unquote eat. I'm using that word, but what you intake into the mind. Watching television so much that is happening nowadays. I was sharing that in the morning too. Even advertisements now have become so intensely negative. It's just two things really that they go between. Is one is fear, and there is desire. Yeah, that's all. The whole thing. They invoke fear or desire. And I was sharing that about insurance, and now next thing, this whole big boulder is going to come onto your car and
Disasters.
disaster, and you have to get this insurance, Allstate or something. Huh? So then, right? That's what I see. For no reason, I go into my break room. We don't have television. I don't watch, but go to my break room at work just to get hot water. There's a hot water spout. And something or the other will go on. And if there's nobody in there, first thing I do is to switch off the television because I don't want to even listen to these ads. So, and then the desires. Oh, you need to have more. You need to have this. You need to look great. You need to look 20-year-old, whether you're 70-year-old. so,
The list goes on and on. There is no end to it.
and so we have to be careful of what we let inside. It's almost like I had shared this, right? It's like this. This is our sort of intellect. This is our intellect, right? The middle layer, and this is the mind, and this is the recorder, memory bank. And you were saying that too, right, in the morning. But so what we take in from out there goes into the mind, but we have to have a good filtration mechanism to not allow what is coming into the mind go deep into ourselves. And that's why that's the phase of the intellect. Our higher, it's a higher faculty of the self, which sees, oh, this is not good enough, this is not good for me, or this is good for me, and I should take this, or I should not take this. And that becomes very weak over time too. It's like a dog, like a watchdog that you don't feed very well, and you feed it all the candy and all that, and then when the need is, then it's not able to protect you from outsiders. So we have to be careful that our intellect is good, then it filters even if something does enter the mind. And in a way, the intellect also can create a layer over the mind so that it doesn't eventually enter into the mind. Sometimes you might have experienced that you're seeing something, but you're really not seeing it. There's this difference between look and see, right? You're looking at something, but you're not really seeing it. You're listening to something, but you're not hearing it. That is happening automatically anyways. Many times, right? But you can make this as a practice, that if you don't want to see something, even if you're looking at it, don't see it. If you're listening to something you don't want to hear it, don't hear it. We can
So how do you practice that in your hospital every day? You're seeing so many patients, crying patients, and also, listening to their...
No, so that is, well, patient part, yes, I'm listening to them. I need to listen to some of these things, but some of the negativity that is going on. So
if they
like
talk about negative things.
like people in the world talking about my colleagues and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like I use this way that, say, if I'm listening to music, I can't hear other things, right? So why not I listen to my own inner music? I create my own inner music in a way, create positive thoughts. So I'm listening to my own inner voice and very carefully listening to my own inner voice. Then all the external voices and noises get
That
muffled.
means if our mind is engaged, busy with something, then it will not go anywhere else.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, right. See, when we want to, everybody I'm sure wants to listen to his or her inner voice, right? God's voice. But what happens is we muffle that by the external noises and sounds. Now we can do it the other way around. We can clearly zone into that inner voice and allow that to actually muffle the sounds of the world. No? If I
also
see
enjoy the company, your company.
my own company,
An own company, because it's not just about listening, but also enjoying that moment.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it doesn't interest you, then you will get bored, and then
Yeah.
your mind
enjoy
will go.
listening to myself, for
Yeah,
example,
right.
enjoying seeing myself as an actor, as a hero
Yeah.
actor, as a diamond,
Mhm.
as a traveler.
Right.
So I'm seeing myself as all those things
Yeah.
constantly. If I do that, then I don't see things happening. And I find that when I don't see myself, or when I am not listening to myself,
Mhm.
then I get stuck with other things. And things
Yeah.
people will say, oh, this person is doing this person is doing this. And
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like a small child, if you give the child his favorite toy,
Yeah.
It will not disturb you anymore.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it will stay engaged. So,
It will be engaged, right?
right.
And you can do your own job
So,
peacefully.
agreed.
Right?
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
how
like-
it is. So I engage. It's important to engage ourselves. Does that help? Right, that we have to truly engage our mind, our intellect in the right places so that all the external unnecessary things automatically get filtered. They don't even come in. Because once they go in, it's almost like, eh, below the surface, like sometimes down in the ocean, sometimes things come up. So down inside, sometimes things come up.
What is a shortcut to delete all beliefs and get rid of? Is there any shortcut for that? Because there are layers and layers of them.
That's wonderful, but
If
there are
I'm
no
a
shortcuts,
baby-
unfortunately.
If I'm an innocent baby, then of course there's none.
Yeah.
No negative beliefs.
Yeah.
No layers.
Yeah,
But,
great question. No, actually, unfortunately, there are no. And I was saying the same thing in the morning, right? You remember? You were there, I say. First of all, the biggest disclaimer with meditation is there are no quick fixes. Period. We live in this fast world, fast food, fast everything, fast information, fast internet. There is no fast meditation fixes. The only big thing is that, like for example, if you're cooking something, if you crank up the heat, then it becomes quicker to cook it. So if I have that inner commitment to do something to my life, to change my life, to transform my life, I put in that much effort, then it will become quicker. Yeah. Like going from here to New York, you could go walking, you could, hope not, yeah, get a bullock cart. Back in India, we have bullock carts, or back in your old days, you must have had things like that. But or you could take a plane, So it depends,
bicycle.
or bicycle, or whatever. So you see how much it will take longer. So if I'm on this path of cleansing myself, clearing myself of those layers of dirt, like Sister Dorothy had once very nicely, you remember Sister Dorothy had come, yeah? She's from New York, and she was saying that it's like, look at this, as if there's a diamond up on the top of a mountain, and it started to roll. And as it rolls, then it picks up more and more and more and more dirt, and it becomes bigger and bigger, more and more dirt, more and more dirt. And when it reaches the bottom, it's unrecognizable. And that's where we are. But we still are diamonds. We are those pure, perfect souls created as images of God. It's just that we have these layers. Some of us maybe have more layers, some of us have less, but that's fine. And layers are going to take time to cut through, to clean. If we intensify our effort, we can clean it
So
quicker.
we can make it shortcut by paying attention to every second, every thought,
Yeah.
whatever we are doing. If we are attentive enough, then we can reach the destination.
See, yeah, another thing that happens is as we are cleaning, say if you're cleaning your clothes and accidentally you're putting something more dirty in the washing machine, it doesn't help, right? It doesn't clean it up. And as I'm in the process of cleansing myself, inner cleansing, I still continue to engage in negativity of the world.
You are slowing down the process
Slowing
in that
down the
way.
process.
So you have to pay attention to what you are
Yeah.
taking from the outside world. Like, on one hand you are meditating, you are putting good thoughts, and then on the other hand you are picking up, negative information from the outside world. So you are neutralizing. So
Yeah.
you are not going anywhere. You are just trying to, turn on the engine and you want to go forward.
Without
you are,
changing the gears.
yeah, you are just sitting over there. You're not moving.
Or
at all.
going 2 steps forward and then 2 steps
Two
backwards,
steps
or at least 1 step backward, if not two. So it will take that much longer.
In other words, not to create, not to recreate more
Yeah.
beliefs, more negative beliefs, but stop at the moment.
Yeah.
And from that point, create only positive and eliminate. It will eliminate the old ones, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. So shall we go a little deeper now into another consciousness that you
Yeah,
wanted to explore? Which one did you want to explore?
I was thinking about because we were talking about detachment, how we can make ourselves more and more detached, And one consciousness that really will help us become detached is trustee consciousness, seeing ourselves as trustee, that nothing belongs to me.
Mhm.
If I live with this, and this is the reality, that nothing belongs to me. There is a famous story by, the real thing about this great king Alexander.
Mhm.
Remember the three wishes that he had made when he was about to die?
Yeah.
The three wishes.
Who remembers?
Who remembers
I,
the
I
three
can
wishes?
remember one or two, but I don't know if I remember all three. But one was that his hands should be outside.
Yeah, so he had wished that, when he dies, then first of all that his coffin, it should be lifted by a physician.
Mhm.
You know why?
Yes, yeah.
Huh?
No, why?
Why? Yeah, think about it.
Lifted
By
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
by
physician.
a physician.
taken
By
to the graveyard
yeah, because he wanted to show
by physicians, a group of
by a
physicians.
group of physicians. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because he wanted to show to the world that, when you are nearing your death, then even physician cannot do anything.
They can't help you.
Physician cannot do anything. That's
Mhm.
why, it is said that, physicians, they say that
Yeah.
now God will take care of it. I cannot take care of you. So that
So in other
means
words, destiny, no one can change destiny.
no one can change. Yeah.
Destiny.
So they cannot do
You're
anything
dead,
about
you're
it.
dead.
Yeah. Right.
End of the
Okay.
story. Yeah.
That
correct,
was the
okay.
first wish, and the second one was, he said that, when my coffin, when you take my coffin to the graveyard, then the path should be, filled with jewels and diamonds and gems
That I had.
that he had earned, because he had conquered so many countries, from Europe to Asia. He had conquered, so many different countries, and he had earned so much. But he said that, I am not going to take any of these with me. Because he died quite early. I think he was he was
Yeah.
just 30 in his 30s, 32 years old when he died. So in those 32 years, he really, he was running around everywhere and trying to conquer so many countries. But he said that I wasted. It was just waste of time, waste of energy. I did not achieve anything, because I'm not taking anything with me.
And so the
So-
stone, these are, yeah, I remember that these precious stones are really stones. Right? That's what,
Yeah, this
so
is
it's true,
nothing.
just-
They're these gems, these jewels are nothing but, stones with no value, nothing. And then the third wish was that he said that, my hand should be outside, showing that I came empty-handed and I'm going empty-handed. So my hands should be outside the coffin, so that people can see that I did not bring anything and I'm not taking anything. So this is a beautiful story that we can relate to when we practice this trustee consciousness, that I own nothing.
Yeah, like for example, say if it's a temple or a mosque or a synagogue, the trustees would
Yeah.
do not believe that it is theirs, believe
Right.
that it belongs, they're just there to take
Trustee.
care. Trustee.
Trustee, not trustee. Okay. I wrote it.
Trustee.
T.
Trustee.
T.
E-E.
Yeah, Trustee, trustee.
Okay, gotcha. So we are just caretakers, not.
Exactly.
Got it.
Correct.
Now I get it. I was like trustee. I couldn't
Not
get
trusting, yeah, trustee.
that.
or-
Trustee.
Trustee.
Gotcha.
That we are just caretakers,
Mhm.
that we have been assigned, we have been appointed to take care of everything and anything that we have at this time with us.
And if you live with this consciousness, then you will take good care of the things. Just think about it. If your neighbor comes to you and your neighbor tells you that I am going somewhere, can you take care of my car? So then you will be more careful.
You won't drink coffee in it and things like that, right?
Yeah, you will be careful not to spoil the car, anyway. Mm. So maybe you will put your car outside and you will put the neighbor's car inside the garage,
Yeah.
because you want to, give the car in the same condition. You got it, right? So you will take more care of the things that if you have this thing in your consciousness that I am a trustee. I don't own anything, but I am living like a trustee. And in that consciousness, you will also feel very light, because there won't be any burdens then. That
That
this
it's
thing,
mine and I have to do this.
yeah. So me and mine will not be there actually.
So if you, let's break it down, trustee for our belongings, right?
Yeah, and there are different, there are
Yeah.
different things that we have to
We-
think about, what we own.
Yeah,
Right.
so like say, let's start with belongings, right, our possessions.
Yeah,
So we are merely trustees of that, they have been given to us.
right.
And I was sharing earlier in the morning, right, that all that we have, anyways, think of it, did we create that? Did we create anything of even if and I gave that example, like, if even if you have $100 bill in your wallet, in your purse, that $100 bill you didn't create it. Yeah. Look at the car. Did you even create one screw of that car? One thread of that seat, the fabric of that seat? Nothing. The rubber, the tires, the food that you have, right? The plate filled with food. Did you create those carrots and the
Maybe you
eggplant?
may have grown the carrots
But
in
you
your
still
garden, but
don't
still.
create it.
Yeah.
Maybe you
We
but
don't create the seeds.
Yeah.
We
You don't-
tend the
correct.
garden.
But even if you tend to it, that seed is
we
now
didn't
created.
create the seed.
And even the seed created itself, changed itself into a big eggplant. We didn't sit and make that eggplant.
That means we allow the nature to take care of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The
So
nature takes care of it.
So in a way, what I'm getting at is that we think this belongs to me, this belongs to me, but really, we didn't do anything. It's just here, really. It has been provided to us. We don't create anything. Even the plate where the food is. You have a sharing that even the table on which the plate is there, even the floor which the table is on. Nothing we create, really. And yet we say it belongs to me.
It is my car, it's my house,
Yeah.
right? It's my food, it's my plate. So throughout the day, if we think about how many times we use my, it's my, it's
Yeah.
my, me and my,
My
I,
space, my belief, my this.
my
So-
body.
My body. So even this body doesn't
Our
belong to
body
me.
doesn't belong
Body
to us.
has been given to me for me to take care of.
You know why we are in this body? We are in this body so that we can express ourselves.
An
Right?
experience
Express and experience. That's why we are here
in this body.
in this body. Yeah.
Because the soul, I like that, because the soul itself cannot
Yeah, because-
experience
yeah.
without the body, right? We experience through these eyes and through the mouth and ears and touch. We experience
Right.
things and we express also.
Otherwise, soul is free. When the soul is in that body, some people they ask this question. If the soul is free and soul enjoys that, then why?
Freedom.
Yeah, that freedom. Then
But
why
why does
the
it have
soul?
to come to the body?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what is the need? Why? So because soul needs the support of the body.
To express an experience, but also for some higher purpose, right?
Right.
To serve mankind, to serve.
Without body, soul cannot do anything. So both soul and body, they have to be together. There has to be that kind of harmony. So there has to be that kind of relationship. And the problem that we see in today's world is that relationship. The true relationship between the soul and the body is no more. That means body has taken over the soul.
Mhm.
The true relationship between the soul and the body is that soul is the ruler, soul is the master, and body is the one who has to follow the orders. But what has happened in today's world, it is now reverse. Body has taken over, means the sense organs have taken over. We don't want to eat something, but we see chocolate or something and then we feel like eating it. We don't want to
And the
hear
mind
something,
says, no, you already ate 5.
but mind gets tempted, right? Mind gets attracted
Yeah.
to the things of the outside world.
Yeah. So seeing the body as merely a vehicle,
Yeah.
as something that has been given to me to take care of.
Yeah. Taking that responsibility, that I have been given this body by God. Who has given me this body?
As a gift.
As a gift. God has given me this body as a gift, to enjoy life, to express, to experience.
And to serve others. To
Yeah.
give God's message to others.
Yes, there is a
To
special
share-
purpose.
To share God's qualities with others.
Yeah.
To share God's love, to share God's peace, to share God's happiness.
That's why we say that I am a child of God. So if I'm a child of God, then I should be able to express His qualities. And this is the reason why God has given us this body. But we are not using this body, properly. We are misusing it.
Because we think it's mine.
Yeah. That's where the problem, starts. And we consider this to be ours. This body is mine. And then the ego comes. And when the ego comes, then there is no more joy and happiness. Ego takes over. And then we become sad, we become unhappy. And especially, if I think that this belongs to me, then there is this fear of losing. And that is actually a big one.
Exactly.
You know?
So if you look
we
at...
live in fear then.
Yeah.
We live in fear.
Yeah, exactly. See, even at work, we get some position, we get a job, some responsibilities, and we start thinking it is mine.
Yeah.
The more we think it's mine, the more we get stuck in it, more it creates that heaviness, and more it creates trouble for others too.
Yeah. There are many different levels actually.
So we'll talk about for a
Right.
moment, if you can,
Yeah.
for a moment, I just thought that I'd
Mhm.
go deeper into this. See how even at work we get so stuck in that. You see somebody who really gets too much stuck in his responsibilities. Is it a joy to work with that person? No. They'll say, oh, I also know what to do. It's not just your job, it's mine too. I know what. So if I can remain a trustee in everything that I do, all the roles that I play, all the positions that I have, everything, you think of it, again going back to all that has been provided to us, there's really nothing we have created. If you look at even the jobs, the job that you are doing, did you create that job? Somebody created that job, and you were given some responsibility and you went there. Even if you're doing a business, did you create that business, sort of? No. Right? Is it making sense? We constantly get stuck in I, mine, mine, and heaviness goes on. And so many times when people, when say a job, they think it is totally my responsibility. Not only is heaviness for other people, for themselves too, then they end up losing their health. They'll be spending so much time doing that. And the more you become light, the more you're able to detach yourself, the more you give opportunity for other people to step up and do it. Like businesses, it's my business, and just getting stuck there. What are your thoughts? What have you experienced that? My job, my business, my work, and instead of thinking it has been just given to me to take care of it for the best, in the best possible way.
I guess you have to think that you're a trustee of doing, whether it's even your own body, taking care of your body, or if you have a job, a trustee of it, and you're going to try to do it the best that you can, but it's not you.
And it's not yours, so at the end of it, you detach yourself and leave. Eventually, say if you are really taking care of a big thing and you're truly a trustee, you have been given the title of a trustee, then at the end, if whatever the board says, whatever the trust says, that's what you go by, right? Like you don't really kind of hold on to your own opinion. Sometimes in that
Sometimes
also.
you can't help it.
Sometimes, yeah. Right?
You have, like, you feel this is right
Yeah.
a certain way.
Yeah.
And
But then you have to surrender. You have to surrender because now you have this title. I'm a trustee of this. There are 10 trustees. There's a board, and so whatever the decision is, finally you step back and say, hey, yeah, whatever the decision is, we'll go with that.
Even though the decision is a disaster?
If whatever the decision is, eventually that's how it happens, right? You don't, you eventually have to surrender to it, right? Because you're just a trustee. It's not yours. You can voice your opinion, you can say what you think is right, but
So we are actually sometimes attached to the outcome also.
yeah,
So we have to,
So
like
have
you were
to get
saying the
away
other
from
day,
that
Yeah.
as
I
well.
had the session at the church, and on, and then you came up with this. I asked everyone there that think about, come up with a list of the things you're attached to. And then she said that sometimes we are attached to the outcome also. Right?
Yeah.
So we have to stay detached. We don't have to think about. We don't have to get too much attached to the outcome. We have to do our best. That is my job.
correct. So going back to that thing, just because we have that title of trustee, it becomes so much easier at that time to surrender. But for other things where we don't have the title of trustee, I'm a director, right? I'm the boss. That's when it becomes so difficult to really surrender to what is the will of that moment. Say, is that making sense?
Yeah.
You still want to enforce, no, it is me, mine. That's where you create heaviness for yourself and for others. Yeah, Jasmine.
Like y'all was saying earlier about being in this spiritual experience. When I go to my job, that's why I think too. Like, this is an experience that I'm having at the job, and I'm fulfilling a purpose, and I'm moving to enjoy this experience instead of more so a big responsibility to make it heavy, and so it'd be lighter as thinking of it as an experience instead of more so as a full of responsibility.
Very nice, yeah. See, that way you can stay detached from the outcome too. Like, say, if it is your kid, oh, I may want to make sure that my kid does this good, this gets good grades and gets this scholarship and then goes there and so on and so forth. And what does that do for the child? It destroys their creativity, right?
Confidence.
Their confidence too. And so, actually, say, think of it, you are a caretaker of your neighbor's child too, and you're taking care of your own child, and sometimes you are more intense with your own child, whereas for the caretaker's child you're not, and actually, right, and so that child will grow much better than your own child because you just destroyed that child's confidence, child's ability to grow. Yeah, you see that all the time.
Yeah, because I have two boys. The way I grow them, and now last 2 years I've been helping Hindu temple, running Balshala, and I have kindergarten class, and 17 kids in my class. So I do concern about them, but the same time, if it's my children, it's a whole lot different. That I feel last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because it's someone else's children there, so I always concern about them.
Yeah, so there is concern, which is absolutely okay. You're
Yeah.
taking care of them, but the attachment.
But if I have my own children in that situation, I always wanted something
Yeah,
instead concern.
yeah, and so you see how much more harm you create
Yes.
for the children.
Well, you put a lot of pressure
Put a lot of pressure.
on the kids to.
And then you become more fearful, and you become worried about
Actually, yeah, that's very interesting because
Yes.
what happens
Right?
is children are very smart. They are able to understand that your heart is kind of stuck with them, so they know how to manipulate them. I see it.
they
I'm
play
sure.
games.
They play games.
They play games
They
with
know
them.
they know where your buttons are. So now, right? Because this is, if I do this is going to trouble them. All right, now I know how to trouble them. So in a way, are not serving them by getting upset, because our energy, when we become upset, when we become worried, we become fearful, we end up kind of losing control at that moment. So that's where the trustee consciousness really.
You know, there is a book written by Mike George. He's a very famous writer, and in that book, he had talked about how we imprison ourselves by, the 7 P's. So, so he defined, that if we become prisoners, and he has defined the bars of these prisons with 7 P's. The first P is the position. So when we are like, I'm a director, I am a supervisor, or I am this, I am that, so it's like a prison. You are in that prison. You are not free. You are not liberated. And then then the fear comes that what if I lose this position? So the first one is the position, and then comes.
Then the position also sort of, in a way,
Mhm.
begins to blackmail us. Sort of, I've
Mhm.
seen that. It's almost like the universe comes together to kind of, because it knows that you are attached to it.
Yeah, so we get attached to that position.
Yeah, and
So we are in the prison, we don't want ourselves to come out of that prison. So we have to have that kind of desire to release ourselves from that prison, right? So the first is the position, and then the power. Then you think yourself to be very powerful, but because you are in that position, so you feel that everyone should listen to my orders. So you exercise control over others. So you have to let go of that as also. That okay, I am in this position, but everyone else also deserves respect. I should pay regard and respect to others also. I should take other people's opinions as well. They are also, they also have a right to say, it's not only me. So let go of the power. That is the second bar. And then the third bar is about the pay. Some people, when they earn a lot, then they are attached to the money that they are earning. And then here comes, if they don't earn enough, then there is insecurity. So insecurity and fear and all these things, desire for more. Like many people, they have one job, and then what do? They want another job, and then many people, they do 2 jobs and 3 jobs, and this is how they exhaust themselves. What do we need? We just need, maybe 2 or 3 breads and a bowl of soup. That's it. For our livelihood, and maybe a little bit of shed on the top, right, to survive. But people, they run after money because they want more and more and more. So if you are attached to that money that you are earning, you are in the prison. So pay. P for pay. And then the next one is the prestige. You want everyone to give respect and regard and praise you and appreciate you. And if you don't get that, then what happens? Then comes the anger. You become angry. You become frustrated. Then your relationships, and that will affect your relationships. Right? This is what we see in today's world. They want prestige. They want the honor. And in today's world, we see that, when some people, they do this, when they get up in the morning, and what do? The first thing that they do is they open their Facebook page and they look for how many likes they got. Right? And if they don't get enough likes, then they get upset. Right? Yeah. They think that, oh, nobody likes me, and then, so their happiness is dependent upon what others are thinking about them. So that means they are not free, they are not liberated. Right? So that is the another P. And then the next P is about the prejudices. that people hold on to. Beliefs, we already talked about that, right? They believe in something that is not good. Wrong beliefs, holding on to their own ideas and own beliefs. And if those beliefs and those ideas, they are not you know, um, agreed upon by others, then they get frustrated, right? So that is another P. So actually, this author, he has beautifully written about all these P's, because he's getting into this point that if you don't let go of all these things from your life, and you won't be able to enjoy, you won't be able to experience happiness. This is the reason the soul has come into this body to experience joy and happiness. Soul is not in this physical body to suffer, but to experience. But in order to experience happiness, you have to let go of all these P's. And the name of the book that he has written, very, very different title that book has, and that the name of that book is The Wisdom of Personal
Unlearnment or something.
Undevelopment. Undevelopment. Usually we talk about personal development, right? But because we have developed so many beliefs, so many different ideas that are wrong, this is the reason we are not able to experience happiness and joy in our lives.
And I guess he's the same author who used the word experience, right?
Experience,
he introduced the word instead of experience, and we experience is external.
Right.
And experience is inner experience. So
he's written many books, and
we have several of these
we
books in the bookstore.
we have here, if you want to take one.
Who's the author?
Mike George.
Mike George, a very famous author.
Yeah.
And he comes up with something very different, like
Yeah.
experience, and this personal undevelopment. Never thought about it, right? But we have to, because of these beliefs, wrong beliefs that we have developed over time, we have developed fears also. The fear, the anger, the frustration, actually we are the ones who have created all this.
So shall we do a little meditation experience?
Yeah, sure.
What are 6 and 7?
Did you?
So what did I?
Yeah, 5. Prejudice was number 5.
Okay, so the first one is the position, then
Power,
the
pay,
power,
prestige,
prestige, possession.
prejudices. That was number 1. Position was number 1.
Yeah. So the possession also.
Possessions.
There is another one.
Possession.
Possession.
Possessions.
What we hold on to, right?
Our belongings.
So our belongings. We feel that I have this big house.
Desire for more
and more and more.
And number 7.
Right. So the power. Did I talk about the power?
Yeah.
Power, prejudices, privileges. Yeah. The last one is the privileges. Privileges. Yeah. So we want more and more in our lives,
Entitlement.
Entitlement.
Oh, that's a big one.
I'm entitled
You
to
know
this.
who you've just perfectly described, right?
Who?
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He is in prison. When you look at this, that man's in a personal
Yeah.
prison.
We all are actually, we all have
To
to
some
think
extent,
about, to some
yeah.
extent we have.
Some are obviously in prison. Like the real prison, like you go to the state medical prison, there's. But in a way, we all are in prison. And that's why during, if you look at 4th of July, right, and that's the Independence Day. But are we truly independent? Is a question that we have to check.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. We are actually under control of everything around. I mean, everything around us controls us. Everything.
To some degree.
Yeah, and to all the degrees, if you can, if you believe it, if you really see it as clearly as I see. Anybody, I can be influenced by people. You see, you go to work and you hear that, oh, that person didn't even smile at me, right? And now they're so upset, they're red, and something. Oh, those people are talking. I'm sure they're talking about me, right? And you see, they are robbing us of our happiness, of our joy, of our peace. They can control us. right?
If we allow it.
And that's what is happening.
Yeah.
That's why we are in prison. Because in a real prison, you are not, you have to wake up to when they want you to wake up. You have to go to bed when they want you to go to bed. They give you food only at a certain time. You have to do everything that they tell you to do. And here too, that's what's happening.
So
People-
detachment is really freeing.
Freeing
Yeah.
ourselves.
You
and-
don't worry about all those things.
Correct. And see what has happened is, jailbirds, when they get so used to, that's the term they use, they get so used to the jails or the prison that even when they come out, they feel uncomfortable outside, and then they will make sure they do something or the other so they go back. And that's what happens to us too. We are so used to, we are so comfortable in the prison of our own minds that we don't want to let go of that. Even when the door gets opened, we are not ready to fly out. And even when we fly out, we become so uncomfortable out there that we want to come back into the prison of our mind. You see, this is very deep. It's
Because
very,
we get
it's
used
no
to
joke.
it,
Yeah,
we get used to it. Sometimes it happens that some prisoners, they prefer to stay in the jail because
that's
they,
what I said. Yeah,
they,
Yeah.
and also there is the story of this parrot also, right? Like this
Yeah.
parrot was inside this cage, and then somebody felt mercy on this parrot, and then he just this
Open the
person
door.
opens the door, and then he thinks that this parrot will go. So this parrot goes outside and then comes back in again.
Yeah, walks on.
Because it got used to staying there inside the cage.
Comfort zone.
Comfort zone, yeah. There's this, yeah, thank you for reminding, because there's a story of actually a parrot cage, and this parrot, and it is able to open the door itself. So it opens the door, goes out, walks out, and then comes back, closes the door, and sits inside. So it's safe in there, it knows that
Because it gets the food and everything, whatever is needed, does not have to go outside in search of it.
Correct.
Right?
So our happiness is so dependent on others. That's how we have lost control.
And the seed is again, me and mine.
Mhm.
We have to let go of this me and mine. Live like a trustee and liberate ourselves
And
from
every
this
time
prison.
you say mine, I think of a baby. They're so innocent when they're first born, and then they develop everything's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That word.
So that's where the undevelopment,
Yeah.
that's why that word has come.
Mhm.
The baby develops with this belief, this idea.
And
that-
you see, right, exactly. And you see a small child in the beginning stages, it is really not attached much to things. You give it one thing to play with, will play with it till it is happy playing with it, then it'll drop that thing, go around, find something else. It's not really stuck. And if you'll say, hey, can you share that with me? And it'll come and give that to you. Then we teach the child, no, 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 that belongs to you. This is, don't give it to your friends, don't do this is yours. We teach the child all the wrong things.
Even fear.
And
Babies
fear.
doesn't have fear.
Yeah,
We tell you're gonna hurt.
yeah,
This is not like watch.
Right.
All the fear we create.
yeah.
Oh, small children are very self-centered. Everybody knows that. Every little child is self-centered. Does it come with insecurity? Where does it come from? Why are they
No, a real small child is not really self-centered. It is
small children when they grow, they are very
because that's how we train them. You see, truly when the child grows up, initially it is so free, it is so easy with everything. Whatever you say to the child is ready to learn, it's not stuck. But then as the child starts going into school, and we teach the child. Everybody is guilty of teaching that. Prejudices to the child. Oh, don't talk to those people. Oh, those are bullies. Oh, those are this. Oh, if you do this, as soon as you get onto the school bus, don't talk. Those are strangers. Those they're going to eat you up and things.
We start off by just saying, don't touch that, it's dirty.
Yeah.
Don't touch that. They
Touch-
want to touch everything. But we
Right.
teach them, don't touch that. Or,
Yeah.
everything we do teaches them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me, mine. No, this is your space. This is your. I remember this is something which is very interesting. Back in India, we never have anything like that. My space, my chair. Like I shared this earlier too. I came to US first time. It was 2006, and I was in a research office, and So as I was talking to somebody, I sat on somebody else's chair. That person comes, "You're sitting on my chair," and almost like she was about to have a heart attack, sort of. And I said, "It's okay. I'm sorry. Here's your chair." And what's the big deal? I mean, chair. We in India, the culture is that we would sometimes eat off one plate. You know, all the children of the house would eat off one plate, and it's never my bed. It's everybody's bed.
That's what
Everybody.
we grow.
That's how we've grown, and
Our
you know, in
cousins, anybody comes, we just share each other. Doesn't say mine or yours.
nothing. Yeah, there's not even my desk, my this. Everybody, children. One day he'll sit here. One day I'll sit in the other one.
Yeah.
It just that's how we were taught, and in fact, even the bottles, the water bottles that we have. In India, we are taught not to touch our lips to it. We drink it from up so that it's clean, so that anybody can drink.
Can touch.
And because here it's like, oh, my bottle. Now you have to write your name on this, right? So this my, see, it really becomes a problem. And then suddenly you find, oh, at work I was seeing there were two people drinking Coke, and now they are confused which is whose. They both kept it. Oh, now they have to trash that. Now they have to go and get their own new Coke bottles. You see how much of stress we create because of me and mine. That's not how children are. Grow. Children are ready to give. Children are ready to be one with everything else.
So
We can do some meditation experience.
Release ourselves from the prison.
That sounds good. I'm ready.
So sit back and relax. This is your time to experience true freedom. Very gently step inwards. By becoming aware of your true identity. That I am a trustee. A soul who has come in this physical body to experience lightness and happiness. And to express the divine qualities that God has inherited. So remember who you are. You are a special instrument of God. God has given you this physical body to perform a very elevated action, to fulfill your responsibilities with no burden, no tension, no discomfort, no heaviness. So have this awareness that nothing belongs to me. Whatever I have, this physical body, the possessions, the position, prestige, privileges, power, all these are very temporary. I am a trustee. Everything that has been given to me belongs to God. With this awareness, make yourself very light. Everything belongs to God, and I am just an instrument, a trustee, taking care of everything with lightness, with no tension. So visualize yourself performing every task right from the beginning of the day to the end. You are taking care of everything that has been given to you with love, with care, with patience, with gentleness. You are manifesting all godly qualities in your actions throughout the day. And this is how you see yourself released from the prison where you were before. You are now experiencing true freedom, true liberation. As you bring about this shift in your consciousness, that I am a trustee. I am an instrument, godly instrument. I am always light, always happy, and always contented. Oh, Shanti.
Thank you. I liked how you touched upon instrument consciousness, and I was thinking that we could talk about that a little bit, because trustee consciousness also is related to instrument consciousness. So, how do you see that consciousness evolving in the context of detachment?
Yeah, so you can take an example of an instrument, musical instrument maybe, right? A piano player. Piano is an instrument, but piano player is aware that that person is just a player of that instrument.
In other
Person
words, the
is
piano is just an instrument, but the player is playing through the instrument.
exactly.
So the piano doesn't think that I am playing the music,
That is the consciousness.
that I'm being played by a pianist.
So I am operating, I'm being operated by God Himself.
Yeah. So can we see? I was seeing this example like a knife. We use a knife to cut the say an apple. So the knife knows that it can do nothing unless somebody takes it and cuts it. So it's an instrument. But
That means, in other words, instrument is not going to do anything by itself.
yeah,
Somebody has to take control over that. And
correct.
that control, if we give that control to God,
Yeah, before that
then-
even, wait for a moment. I was just thinking that, so the hand is being used to hold the knife, but the hand is also then an instrument, right?
That's what in the morning I was sharing, remember?
Yeah,
Who am I? I am not
the hand,
I am not the knife. I am not the hand.
yeah.
I am not the arm. I am not the physical body.
Yeah, the shoulder, if you
The
will, yeah,
shoulder,
that's
yeah,
holding
so,
this.
right.
And I'm not this whole body
whole
then,
body,
because then body is also an instrument.
instrument.
So before the body comes the mind, right? The thought is coming in the mind, I should cut the apple. So mind is also an
Also
instrument.
instrument.
So mind is not me, right? So I am telling my mind to tell the body, to tell the shoulder, to tell the arm, to tell the hand, to then hold the knife
And then
and make the knife cut the, right? So then if I go back, isn't that interesting, right? So,
Complicated.
yeah, and so even if I go, I need to go even further, make it more complicated. That so it's I telling my mind, but it's not even I. I'm merely an instrument of God, of the universe. Somebody is telling me, some force, some energy is directing me to do it.
And think about it, if you are connected to the divine energy, then you will exactly cut in the right way because you're
Correct.
being operated.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to go. But I thought, let's go a little bit slower. What I was thinking was that if the knife decides, says, hey, you know what, I'm not going to listen to the hand. I'm going to do what I feel. Or the hand says, I'm not going to just listen to the arm. Or the arm says, I'm not going to listen to the shoulder. Shoulder says, I'm not going to listen to the body. Or body says, I'm not going to listen to the mind. Think of how chaotic this will become. No? Will we be able to really cut the apple? What will we end up cutting? Something else, in some other way, right? Yeah. You see the chaos that will happen? Because each of these are in pure consciousness, if you will, that I am an instrument. The knife knows I'm an instrument. The hand knows I'm an instrument. The arm knows I'm an instrument. The shoulder knows. The body knows. The mind knows.
That means there's perfect coordination.
Perfect coordination, right? But somewhere I forget that I am an instrument. Is that interesting? Everything else knows.
That is why there's so much chaos in today's world.
So in other words, we
Everyone has
don't.
forgotten.
That means our consciousness has gotten lower than even a tool's consciousness, a knife's consciousness. Can't we say it that way? The
That's
screwdriver will never go itself and start screwing the screw, or unscrewing screws. A hammer will not ever pick itself up and go and hammer anything, right? It
This
all
is enlightenment.
right, it right there, you see, and we still think we are doing it and we will do it. So surrendering to the force of the universe, surrendering to the divine energy, surrendering to God, is something that why do you think we find it so difficult?
Because again, because we have been habituated, we have been developed that by, in this way right from the beginning. We have never been, nobody has told us that we are instruments. This instrument consciousness, nobody had taught us.
So today is the day.
Today is the day.
Today is the day of
Have you
spiritual.
ever thought about that you are instrument?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Good, good. But now let's. What's that?
Oh, I'm just saying, we're an instrument of God.
Instrument of God.
Another way to look at it is that, I am a puppet and the string is in God's hand. And He is the one who is, wherever He is directing me, I'm going in that direction. So hand over that string
Yeah.
in God's hands.
So in other words, we can say the more we try to control, the more we mess it up.
Yeah. Give the control to the divine energy and you will be safe.
Right.
If you really want security, everyone is looking for security. Right? And people are keeping VIPs, they keep bodyguards. But bodyguards are not going to do anything. We need soul guard, actually. Right?
So these consciousness, if you will,
Yeah, they will guard the soul.
will guard the soul, protect the soul.
Right.
So we are instruments. Can we hold a moment or two with this thought?
Sure, you can write.
Guide us together. Yeah. And if we can pause for a few questions. And then I think I was also thinking of introducing another consciousness if we have time. And
No,
so
I
that
think it will be too much.
no,
for
no, introducing it, just
Okay.
introducing so that because you like to know, right, Marie?
Yeah.
What's the next one? Start
Murray is always excited about the next what is the upcoming one, right?
Like when you have these movies and then there's a trailer for the next one. So,
Wait, I want more, show me more.
yeah. All right. So for a little bit, really see ourselves as instruments. I know at times it's a little difficult to let go of control. We become truly control freaks. But it's okay. You are in a safe space. You have been taken care of. You have been provided with all that you need till this moment anyways. You might have some wants. In other words, you might have wanted for something that you may not have been served with. But if you look back into your life, something or the other has been provided to you to sustain you. You have been taken care of so far. Even if you didn't get the most elaborate meal, you got some food. Even if you did get a 5-star childhood, you got some childhood. Some education, some care, some comfort, some protection, some trust, some development. Somebody took care of you. When you had no control, just no control. When you couldn't even control your bladder and bowel, even then somebody took care of you. When you couldn't cook for yourself, when you couldn't fend for yourself, when you couldn't even really swallow for yourself, you were taken care of. think of it, those forces that took care of you at that time and still taking care of you right now, why would they not take care of you in this moment and the next millions of moments yet to come? So let go of this control. See yourself as an instrument, instrument of God, instrument of the universe. The universe has its way, will provide you the best, will give you what you need and more. So let the universe do what it needs to do through you. Think at this moment, how can I be the best instrument possible? How can I be the best instrument possible? An instrument that allows the one who is using the instrument to do exactly what he wants to do is the most valuable, is the most precious. If the one who is playing wants to play a certain note and some other note comes out, maybe the note could be the same, but maybe muffled, maybe exaggerated, maybe not as pure, then the value of the instrument reduces. So see for yourself, how can I be such an instrument that allows God's love, God's energy to flow through me uninterrupted and undefiled. That God can create the purest notes through me. God can create the best music ever through me. Just like a piano, just like a violin, just like any other instrument, just like any other tool that surrenders to the hands of the person using it. How can I surrender to the hands of divine, to God? Let God do whatever He wants through me. Even for a moment, don't allow your mind, don't allow your understanding, your prejudices, your beliefs define the music that God wants to play through you. Just total surrender. total letting go. Just hold this thought. It actually is very enriching, very re-energizing. It immediately lightens us up. I'm merely an instrument. God will do what He wants to do through me. The universe will do what the universe wants to do through me. And see your life beginning to blossom right in front of your eyes. Om Shanti.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Everyone liked it?
Yeah.
Instrument consciousness?
Any thoughts, any ideas, any suggestions, any new insights that you gained as we discuss, as we explored these different types of consciousnesses? We can. Do you want me to? Because there are people from other parts of the country also connected. If they have any thoughts, any questions, any new insights that they can share too. Any one of you to say something? Why don't you take this so that because it's recorded, and so that way your voice will also come, your lovely voice. Why not?
Becoming famous now with
Yeah.
the microphone. I think that letting go of the controlling, like you said, controlling freaks,
Yeah.
which is very true about probably the majority of us, I mean human beings.
Yeah.
And letting go of that controlling is probably the biggest, hardest thing to do for most people. And I think that just says everything. If you just can let go, like not to be in control of everything that happening outside, that can make such a big shift right there, right
Yeah.
at the moment.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. See, we have been control freaks for as long as we know, right? Has it given us happiness? No. And what did we talk about the definition of insanity that Albert Einstein said?
Doing the same thing over and over and getting the same result.
Expecting
a
a
different
different
Expecting a
result.
different result.
We want happiness. The holy grail of happiness somewhere is hiding for us. But we still go on doing the same thing. I want to control. These are such easy things. This is ancient wisdom. This is true heart, internal spiritual wisdom. Each one is born with that, and somewhere we lose that. It is now going back to that inner wisdom. Such an easy thing. Does any of this really seem complicated, truly?
No, but we're trapped. It just
Yeah.
feels like we're trapped because we think we have to have control to survive,
Yeah,
and so it's hard to give up control.
yeah.
Again, the same thing, we have been developed in that way.
It's a personal undevelopment.
Personal undevelopment is the crux actually. We have to work on that.
It takes time. But at least I'm sure these sessions are creating that energy for that change, for that transformation. And few months, few years, few decades from now,
It's like letting go of beliefs that don't serve you.
exactly. None of these serve us anyways.
And how do we know they don't serve us?
You know it. It's
By
your
your
inner wisdom.
experience.
You know it.
Experience.
You know it yourself. Nobody has to tell you.
If you're not happy, it's not working.
It's not working.
If there's any suffering involved, if there's any pain, emotional pain, suffer, that's the big sign of something goes wrong, something has to be changed or shifted or replaced with something
Yeah, see.
positive.
And each one of us knows it. There's this voice that tells us, no, it is not right. What do? We smother it to death. Yeah, with the pillow, a nice pillow, we put it on it and no, shut up.
We
Who
stop
doesn't
that
know?
voice.
Who doesn't know what is the right thing? Truly speaking, who doesn't know? Each one of us knows. It's just that we don't want to think that.
We're in
We don't want to
denial,
believe.
you know.
We live in denial all the time.
And sometimes there is resistance also.
Yeah, resistance is because of denial. Yeah.
We don't want to change.
We don't want to change. We deny change. We deny the need for change.
And
But-
then because sometimes there is fear also.
Exactly. So all of it together, these are all mixed emotions. And so we have to let go of all that. And so what happens is unless there is education, this what we're trying to do is to just create this awareness, this education for everyone that now at least we can get the ball rolling for each one of us.
I think one of the hardest things is that the ego always wants to blame someone else.
It's a good feeling, I like it.
Hold on to my mic.
Touched,
My
already
mic. My mic.
Already touched.
Yeah, I think the concept or the idea of the ego always wants to blame someone else for the problems that you have in your life instead of you taking responsibility for things.
You see, again, that's how we teach
It's a
the
blame-
child.
a
You know,
blame
like
thing.
when the child hits, say it's walking and bumps its knee with the chair, what do most people will say? Oh, bad chair, don't cry, don't cry. It's a bad chair. I don't know, this is in India, they do that all the time. I don't know in
So and then
It's
they say
good.
like that and they ask the child to hit.
Yeah, actually, I've seen in parents do that in India,
Yes.
They will do that. Oh, it's a child will bump and start crying. Oh, don't cry. It's a bad chair. I don't know. Do they do it in America? No, but
I've seen it done.
I've seen in many cultures they do that like that. And so it's like, oh, darn car, darn this, darn that. It's somebody else's fault. It's not your fault. They're teaching the child right from day one that it's not your fault. Instead, why not tell him, child, you should be more careful. You see where you're walking, that you won't bump your knee.
So often in America, the parents are teaching their children that it's the teacher's fault if you don't learn something.
Yeah.
Not that the child needs to work harder or pay more attention or read the assignment, but it's the teacher's fault.
Yeah.
And then the parent will go in and argue with the teacher
Yeah.
to get their child a better grade.
Yeah.
And but it's never your responsibility to be the learner. It's just a habit.
Yeah, and so because we are seeing this again and again everywhere, this is reinforcing for us. And so then we get into more of the denial. So now is the moment for us to really awaken, and then not just stay awakened, but
We
really
have to break that wall actually.
Yeah, break that
It's
wall.
like a wall, big wall that we have
Yeah.
created.
And so that enlightenment truly understanding, not just stay awakened, but truly stay enlightened, understand this, experience it, make it a living experience. That's my hope for all of us.
We have a movement in our school systems today that what they call
Dumbing and down.
dumbing down.
Dummy and down.
You know, if
Okay.
a child cannot grasp the
Concept.
concept, then they dummy it down. They make it easier.
Dummy it down, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I've seen that happen is when we do that, and it's worked its way all the way up into colleges,
Yeah.
where the students are not living up to their potential
Yeah.
to learn,
Yeah.
and consequently when they get out, they get into the workforce, And what do you have?
Yeah.
Incompetency.
Yeah.
You call the
So
bank
true.
and you say, well, what happened? Well, we don't know.
That's so true. Yeah. Thank you for
You
sharing
know,
that.
and it comes right back to us
Yeah.
in trying to deal with these people because they weren't taught in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we pay the price of the
Right.
consequences.
It's almost like it's a right for you not to know it. You know, so it's my right not to know it. I don't care what you think, but it's my right to be incompetent.
I used to explain to students that on the first day that everyone has the freedom to fail.
Freedom to fail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of their inalienable rights,
Yeah.
freedom to fail, and that's, I won't, just like I won't get in the way of education.
Yeah.
I won't get in the way of whatever it is they need to learn, which might be to fail.
Yeah.
That might be the beginning of their learning.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
that's also an interesting in college is where parents learn to detach. Because a parent would want to come talk to me, I would have to say, I will neither confirm nor deny your child is a student of mine. And that's all I can really tell them.
Very nice.
I mean, the child has to give me written permission to discuss anything. So that's where they learn detachment, and really that's a part of the learning experience. That's
Lovely. I think the mic was off, but anyways, we all heard it. Yeah, thank you for sharing. See, this is rich sharing. Well, this is what I like. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So we can end, and I had said that the first time. I wanted to talk about servant consciousness, serving consciousness with servant consciousness, and so for the next time we will. And
over this consciousness.
Yes, because on one hand, when we talk about Raj Yoga, it's about king.
Okay.
And self-sovereignty and mastery. So where does this servant consciousness fit into it? You see? It looks
Two
paradoxical.
extremes, right?
Yeah, it looks paradoxical, but that's an interesting concept in itself. It's very deep. And I think it's great that over these 3 weeks or weekends, we have gone enough deep for you to
And we go deeper.
go deeper. It's like
Because everyone is enjoying, right?
how deep down you want to go into the rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah?
Everyone is ready to go deep down, right?
Okay. Om Shanti. So you have that sweet